A tentative agreement to keep hundreds of city workers on the job. Good evening and thank you for joining us. A CUPE strike appears to have been averted. After months of negotiations, a tentative deal has been reached between the city and nearly 600 of its unionized employees represented by CUPE Local 87. The last contract expired more than a year ago. In December, CUPE members voted 98% in favor of strike action if necessary. The union members work in areas like garbage collection, snow clearing, and more. The settlement was reached on Friday during negotiations with a conciliator. CUPE's bargaining team is recommending that members ratify the deal during a vote on Wednesday. Union President Derek Fournier won't provide specifics of the deal, but says it's fair for both sides.
It was a hard round of bargaining. There was some uneasiness for sure, but at the end, I think we came to a deal that both sides will like. Hopefully, our members, after they see the information, they like it as much as we do, and then we can move forward.
City Manager Norm Gale released a statement crediting the bargaining teams on both sides. Gale says, quote, CUPE employees play a vital role in providing service to the community. We're extremely pleased to reach a tentative deal and, subject to ratification, prevent any disruption to a number of key services to residents. Highway 11 in the Greenstone area was reopened this morning following a pair of overnight collisions involving transports. One of them happened early this morning east of Long Lac, while the other occurred last night west of Beardmore. OPP say snowy conditions appear to have been a factor. Jonathan Wilson has the details.
This was the aftermath of a three-vehicle collision early Monday morning on Highway 11 near Klotz Lake, about 60 kilometers east of Long Lac. Two transports sustained significant damage, and a snowplow operator managed to escape the worst of it by veering off the highway into the tree line. OPP Constable Matt Foster explains what happened.
January 22nd at approximately 3 a.m., Greenstone OPP responded to a report of a three-vehicle collision on Highway 11 in the area of Klotz Lake. The three vehicles involved, one snowplow and two commercial motor vehicles. As a result of the collision, a 32-year-old male was charged with careless driving. Two people did receive minor injuries as a result of the collision. Highway was closed for an extended period of time, but has since reopened.
There's no word yet on whether any charges will be laid. Foster says there was snow falling in the area at the time of the collision.
I'm not able to determine the exact cause of the collision at this time. However, across Northwest region, we have experienced increased snow-like conditions and slippery roads.
Meanwhile, OPP were also dealing with a single vehicle crash involving a transport, which happened Sunday night between Beardmore and Nipigon. Foster has the details on that crash as well.
So as a result of the collision, a 29-year-old male was charged with careless driving. One of the occupants of the vehicle was treated for serious injuries. And as I said, the highway was closed for an extended period of time, however, since reopened. And again, just like to reiterate that when it's extreme weather conditions, whether it's snowing, raining, freezing rain, whatever condition that you may find, just be extra cautious when driving on the roads, as the buildup can come quickly. And when you do see plows on the road, just give them space and allow them to do their job and clearing the highway so we can get to where we're going safely.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
It's being recommended that Thunder Bay City Council endorse the new Parking Authority financial plan. It's up for debate tonight at City Hall after some significant community pushback. The plan proposes increases to metered parking rates and would implement paid parking at certain areas of the marina. There was a public survey released to gauge community thoughts on the proposed plan. It found about 71% of respondents didn't want to pay more for parking, but 72% said they wouldn't be willing to pay more taxes to subsidize parking. There was also pushback to the notion of forcing people to pay for parking on the weekends and later in the evening during the week. Premier Doug Ford spoke at the Rural Ontario Municipal Association conference today. The Premier says he wants rural municipalities to aim high when it comes to housing targets. Siobhan Morris explains.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
The Premier getting FaceTime in with leaders of some of Ontario's hundreds of rural municipalities in a time of unprecedented growth.
So we need to build and we need to build in every part of our great province.
Doug Ford's putting a focus on more homes, but infrastructure too. The government set up bonus money for municipalities that meet or beat their housing targets. For those that don't,
Our government will take unused funds from the Building Faster Fund, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, and make them available for housing enabling infrastructure investments that all municipalities can apply for.
infrastructure that might be holding back the speed of building. The Premier's trumpeting a new era of growth for Ontario.
We're building a homegrown EV supply chain connecting critical minerals in Northern Ontario and clean steel makers in Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie to automakers and battery manufacturers right across Ontario.
With plants coming in St. Thomas and Windsor. What about a possible new Honda plant south of Barrie?
How are those Leafs doing?
No commitment for help from the Premier yet.
Rural Ontario.
Our rural leaders have other concerns over this three-day conference.
In many rural areas, traveling for medical care isn't measured in minutes, but measured in hours. These services must be brought closer to home.
With more than 600 emergency room closures last year.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Nearly 35 years after the Air Ontario plane crash near Dryden, work is underway to commemorate the devastating loss of life with a new memorial. The Dryden and District Museum recently received $20,000 in donations for the project.
It was a traumatic incident, right? So it causes a lot of pain. But I think it's a moment in our city's history that we need to reflect on and recognize some positive points as well. Our city came together quite rapidly to help as many people as possible that day.
Air Ontario Flight 1363 went down in March of 1989. The tragic crash killed 24 of the 69 people on board. Ice and snow on the wings caused the plane to go down less than a minute after takeoff. The disaster resulted in significant changes to the Canadian aviation regulations, particularly de-icing protocols. There's already a memorial plaque attached to a large boulder in the forest near the crash site, but museum officials want to create a new accessible monument right in the city of Dryden.
So we want a new monument to recognize the incident itself, those who are impacted, including the survivors, and those who put in any effort that day, and allow people to contemplate and reflect on the incident itself too.
The impetus for the new monument came from Garth Twitchell, a retired aviator from Southern Ontario. After visiting the memorial site in 2020, Twitchell approached then-Mayor Greg Wilson about creating a more substantial and easier to access monument that would also recognize the impact of the crash on Canadian aviation. Twitchell made a $10,000 donation to the project, which was then matched by Wilson and his wife Debbie. An 84-year-old Atikokan man has been charged with stunt driving. Rainy River OPP clocked him at more than 140 kilometers an hour on Highway 11 in Atikokan Township. The man's vehicle has been impounded for 2 weeks and his license revoked for 30 days. He'll also have to appear in court to answer to the charge. Thunder Bay Police are looking for a driver after an SUV intentionally crashed into multiple businesses on the city's south side. It happened late Friday evening into Saturday morning and resulted in at least $30,000 worth of damages. That includes the Tim Hortons on Waterloo Street. This security footage shows the driver backing the vehicle into the front doors, then pulling ahead, striking the building a second time. The same thing happened at Man vs. Meat on Leland Avenue, with the owners forced to replace the front door, which used to be glass. Sources say the Robbins Donuts on May Street was also hit with significant damage, also happening to the front doors at the Da Vinci Center. All 4 businesses remain open. City police have been provided with the security footage and continue to look into the incidents. After 2.5 years of design and development, a new audio-video post-production facility is almost ready to open on Tungsten Street. Blueprints is the region's first multi-purpose music and TV recording studio. TBT News got a chance to check it out ahead of the grand opening later this week. Jaden Billick has this sneak peek.
This is a 4,000 square foot facility that caters to the music and film industries, and within it there are multiple different studio spaces that have different functions and features to them.
Whether it's for recording and mixing music or editing dialogue for film, TV, and podcasts, Blueprints has different spaces throughout the facility. That includes isolated recording booths, full surround sound video editing suites, an underground sound effect pit, and fully customizable workplaces to cater to just about every audio-visual need. Jean-Paul DeRover says this space is the first of its kind in Thunder Bay, and they're very relieved and excited to finally open the doors to the general public later this week, after quite a few setbacks related to the pandemic.
It's been a real harrowing experience to get it all done. In fact, people were telling me all the time, you chose the worst possible time to construct something. But we're here, it's ready, we're ready.
In the future, DeRover's aspirations for Blueprints is that the facility may become a hub, allowing big TV and music production companies around the area to have an accommodating professional space and giving them a high-quality environment to edit and create just about anything. Additionally, Blueprints is equipped with Dolby Atmos, the new industry-standard surround sound technology developed by Dolby Laboratories, which utilizes height channels, allowing sounds to be heard like three-dimensional objects with few limitations. DeRover is proud to say that Blueprints is currently the only studio in Thunder Bay to be equipped with such a desired program.
What we're hoping is that a facility like this can really open up the doors to encouraging more productions to come up here, knowing that they have access to post-production facilities, that they have access to office spaces to do their work out of, that we have a talent pool that is now trained in how to deal with audio and video.
Blueprints has future plans to collaborate with the Confederation College Film and Production Program. A ribbon-cutting ceremony with various funding agencies is set for this Thursday. And DeRover adds they will be having an open house for the general public this Friday from 1 to 9 p.m. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Another Thunder Bay family has been chosen to compete on Family Feud Canada. The Vereshchak family appeared on a taping of the popular game show in September, and their episode will air on CBC tonight at 7:30. The family is made up of sisters Nancy Murray and Michelle Peasy, Peasy's daughter Brittany Parnell, and their male cousins Sean and Andrew Vereshchak. Peasy says they got some advice from their local friends who were previously on the show, the Pressingers and others who have been on there to prepare for the experience. And although they're not allowed to reveal how they did, the family members say they were all very excited to be chosen for the show.
Oh my God, it was like so exciting because we did the whole, like I made a video and I submitted it. And when we actually got the call that we made it, we were like so excited, like so pumped.
Well, it was so fun being on the show and to also get away as a family on a trip that normally us cousins don't get that time to spend with each other. So it was really great to have that opportunity to make some great memories, be on a TV show and actually see how a TV show is actually run from behind the scenes.
Why do you think they picked your family?
We're loud, little wild. It makes for good TV, and when you see it, you'll know why.
Tune in Monday at 7:30. Woo!
On CBC.
CBC Canada, Family Feud Canada.
And we'll have the full story on the family's game show experience on tomorrow's NewsHour. Well, after hardly getting any snow in December, the white stuff continues to arrive in Thunder Bay in early 2024. City residents woke up to roughly 10 centimeters or more of the light and fluffy snow, and with last week's cold snap now behind us, those we spoke to today don't seem to mind heading outside to shovel their driveways and sidewalks.
What are your thoughts of last night's snowfall?
Wonderful. Great for the kids. Very nice. Makes everything nice and clean and white and gives me some exercise.
Honestly, not too bad, but I have a little table in my backyard and having this much snow, kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a lot more than they forecasted it, but it's nice, night, fluffy, it's not too hard to shovel.
Are you having any trouble with snow shoveling today, or are you just kind of breezing through it?
No, well, not breezing, but I'm just getting it done.
I mean, it's classic Thunder Bay weather. Like, what else do you expect? You go to bed, you know, there's nothing on the ground. You wake up to half a foot of snow. Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little surprised when I woke up this morning as well, Fiona. Again, went to bed, Nothing had started to fall at that point, and then I woke up and definitely had to shovel the driveway in order to get out.
Well, to paraphrase the last gentleman, welcome to Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
That is often the case. I mean, it is winter, and it was kind of nice this morning. I know my dogs were very excited to get out there and play in the snow, and it really wasn't heavy snow. It was very dry, it was very light, it was very fluffy, which is exactly what you want when you have to shovel your way out of your front door. Today, temperature-wise, because what put everybody in a good mood was that overnight, we only dropped down to a low of -6, wind chills of -12, not a lot of a warm-up, but when your overnight low is warmer than what your daytime high should be, nobody's complaining. High of -4, wind chills of -9, and that snow continued for much of the day. The radar is showing how it moved through, and at this point, for the most part down, sure, we've got a little bit of a pocket still around Thunder Bay and to the west, but this system has been drying out as it's moved eastward. At this hour, we've got a lot of cloud in Fort Francis. They range from about -11 to -7 today. So as you can see, they're at their high. Wind chills around -12. Definitely a little cooler in Red Lake. Temperatures have been falling all day. They're at -15 and a wind chill of -21. Greenstone has had light snow all day long and continues at this hour. Sault Ste. Marie has been holding steady at -2 almost since midnight for the most part, and wind chills are hovering around -7 under mostly cloudy skies. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we are going to remain above normal for our overnight hours as well. -16, although wind chills will feel like -22. Partly cloudy skies, just a little itty bitty chance of some snow. And as we mentioned, temperatures were rising today, and they will continue to rise a little bit more every day. And despite that, there is still a slight chance of snow. But despite the slight chance of snow, we are going to see plus side temperatures sooner than you think. And I'll have more details, Ryan, when we are back later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hopefully no more surprises for me when I wake up in the morning. Thanks, Fiona. Well, turning to national news now, the federal government over the next 2 years is going to put a cap on the number of international students coming into this country. It's part of an effort to alleviate the housing crisis. We'll have more on that when your news hour continues right after the break.
This should have